Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, friends of the social media world. We're back. Clear to Close Live, we're back. Mama Bear's back in the house. I dragged her out of the house finally after months of fighting. But today, our guest, it is a pleasure and an honor to have our friend Lucy with us. A long time coming, trying to get her on the show, and we finally got her able. So, Lucy, please introduce yourself to our friends on social media who are now your friends.
Oh, well, hello, friends. I love to make friends. Well, my name is Lucy Guzman, for those of you guys that have not met me yet. Lucy Guzman, been in the business since 1990. Yes, guys, I started very early when I was 16 years old. Yeah. Well, yes, okay. Let me lie. Let me tell you the truth. I was like last year. Well, I started in this business, Mario, and thank you for inviting me, because and I know that we're gonna have tacos, and I know we're gonna talk about real estate, and I'm gonna talk about myself. But most of all, I wanted to say thank you for the invitation, because I've been watching the show, and I was like, I'm gonna wait until it becomes like the holidays when they talk about tamales, talking about the holidays. But a little bit about me. Yes, I'm Mexicana. Nací en Tijuana, Mexico. My family is from Jalisco, from El Grullo. All my friends from Jalisco, del Grullo, Jalisco, and from Tijuana. So I grew up in Los Angeles. So un poquito chola.
Hey, de todos lados te
De todos lados. And we came to Arizona, Mario. And back in 1990, that's when I started real estate, because my mom was like, in California, real estate was really expensive, and I think it still is. But my families were actually paying rent, or rent went up to $500 back in the day. Sí. And that's when my mom was like, you know what, we can't afford it anymore. Plus the earthquake of 1996 that happened and shook us all the way over here, right? But we came to Arizona for affordable housing, and I think that's why I kind of got the passion. Actually, my mom me la inyectó. She's like, you gotta do this.
Yeah.
And it's true, because, when I came to Arizona, we hardly were able to speak Español. No podíamos hablar español. I don't know how long have you guys been in Arizona, but back in 1990, when I started living here, teníamos que hablar puro inglés. Yeah. And I was like, what? ¿Cómo que? Y las tortillas las traían de California. My aunt decía a mi mamá, hey, vamos a traer unas tortillas. Because Arizona was really like, the Latino market was not here. Yeah. And I think we started coming. When I started real estate, I was it was just my broker. She was Americana, very, very great woman. A lot of people know them. Her name was Carolyn Stanton. And I used to work with Dora Gonzalez. If you guys ever heard of Mastic Realty, that's where I started. On 47th Avenue in Indian School. And it was just me and her that were Latinas. And I remember that I started being her babysitter, que se iba al Capri a bailar, y era la niñera. So that's how I started kind of having the passion for real estate. Y aquí me tienes ahora con una edad de 47 years old, and I have a 20-year-old daughter that actually also is a part of my team. Hi, Natalie. Maybe all of you guys already know her, but she is the one that runs the show now. So if you guys are asking me if I'm single, yes, I am available.
Hey, there it is. The official Thanksgiving and Christmas request for date night.
Necesito un date para Thanksgiving. Sí.
I just need a date for Christmas.
Yeah, apúntense. Hey, now taking orders.
Hagan fila. I have a gala on the 30th. I have a gala on the 9th. And all the other Christmas parties, right? Yeah. So I'm just kind of I like to joke. I like to make my life fun.
Yeah.
When people ask me, why do you walk a little bit slow? Because I don't like to rush. Aparte de que, we share that we both have back problems. But you know what? I don't let my pain make the game. Mm-hmm. I like my happiness,
Yeah.
Make everybody happy. I like to make jokes. I like to dance, even though I no se aguanto dos canciones. But I like it. I'm a very happy person. And that's why I still like to work in real estate, because I want to make families happy, Mario.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are helping us make another family happy, and I really love it. That's why we think we're an awesome team.
Yeah, and that's the testament of you're the testament of triumph, right? Born in Mexico, first generation, living in LA, decided, start a career in a business, right? And not a lot of people that come over here take that path, unfortunately, right? Or have the means to take that path, right? So I think when people hear stories like yours, right, you can triumph here. There's a ton of opportunity. Mm-hmm. But if you do it the right way, you can come here and be as successful as you want, right? From any part of the world. I think it's one of the only places in the world where you can do that, right? You can't go to certain countries and be like, okay, I want to establish my own business as a real estate agent and become successful. It doesn't happen.
And you know what, you're right. And something that I have told my daughter, and I think that my mom, she came to this country when she was 15, and she was pregnant with me and her brazos. And it's something that she always told me, you know, my mom was a cook for 46 years, guys. She just retired last year. As a cook, she always says, number one, always treat your customers with a smile. Dales un tamalito con una sonrisa. Pero something that she says that it's like, you got to wake up every day, and it's up to you how successful you're going to be. Yeah. It's up to us. So every day, you know, we all go through hardship. We all go through problems. We have to be happy, no matter where you live or where you come from. But sometimes what we do have to realize that, who are you hanging out with? You know, my mom was motivated by her friend, like her youth friend. She was motivated to come to Arizona and buy a house. She's like, if I could do it, you could do it. My tios were like, you're crazy. What are you doing? But she says, you know what? I came to this country to find my own path and my own happiness. She was really happy. We lived a very, very happy childhood to this day. And I mean, I don't like to talk about my hardships because they're kind of hard. But, you know, that's what we have to do. Wake up every morning, and it's up to you to become successful at what you love. Yeah. It could either be, you know, it could be a cook like my mom did it for so many years. It could be like my dad doing stairs. He did stairs, and he says, yo hago las escaleras para que todos suban al éxito. And I'm like, wow, technically they're going up to their bedroom, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's true. Yeah. And it's a simple task, right? That we, I think culturally, right, we're built naturally, right, as like, there's a lot of haters in the Latino culture, right? Unfortunately, right, we love to hate on each other, and changing that stereotype and actually empowering and mentoring each other and helping each other out. When you change that stigma, people still hate you for it. Yeah. And so you continue to push, and sometimes that pushback, you go, you know, is it worth it? And they ask me all the time, like, Mario, they're like, you get hated on all the time. I'm like, yeah, I do, because I'm changing the narrative. You know, we don't need to be, you know, I don't like him because he's from Sonora and he's from Durango and she's from Jalisco or whatever. It's like, look, at the end of the day, we all jump the same charco. Like, it doesn't matter, right? Like, but breaking those barriers, right? You know, telling people, stop paying somebody else's mortgage. You become the homeowner. You know, you become successful, even as a landscaper, as a painter. Like, I know tons of Latino landscapers that make, you know, 6-7 figures a year. But they go, no, pues, mi amigo me dijo que haga esto así para no hacer esto. And then you're like, well, you're never going to buy a house because, you know, you're doing these things. But I think it's...
They misguide you.
They misguide you, yeah. And
accidentally, I think friends misguide you.
Yeah.
And it's not that they want to misguide you, but they're also misguided, misleaded. But I want to kind of, something that you just mentioned is true. You know, we do have a lot of haters, but if you kind of think about it, we've been through so much in the last 3 years, you know, with our country, and we always go through so much as a person. Why will you hate? Why don't you become that person that you give somebody like, and one advice that person could take that one advice and become super successful?
Yes.
You know, my mom, all she did was this in front of our mailbox on 63rd Avenue. When she got her real estate keys, she's like, we're homeowners. And she said, Lucy, ponte las pilas. You got to do this. You could do it better. You're bilingual. And I said, ay, ma, estás loca, you know? But it was just that little fist bump that she said, and every time I always saw it, and she says, "Don't be a cook, Lucy. You gotta sit behind a desk and help people." Yeah. And that always resonated for me. And it was so simple. You could do it. You could do this. And you know what? Sit behind a desk and be able to help people, and always treat people with a smile. Yeah. To this day, I still do that. And why can't you give somebody that advice? Yeah. Like say, hey, you know what? You're having a hard time. Why don't you visit Mario? Why don't you visit Mario and his team? Yeah. And why don't you visit Jeanette and have them give you some advice? Maybe a lot of us maybe sometimes need marriage advice. Why don't we go to those people that have been married for so long? Yeah. Why don't we go to those people and say, hey, how did you do it to buy a house? Who was your realtor? Who was your lender? Yeah. And that's what we have to do. Don't tell that friend, oh, you can't buy. Say, if you want to get ready to buy a house and become successful and build wealth, why don't you call the team that you are seeing right now, right? Yeah. Guys, if you guys are seeing us, Lucy Guzman, Mario, and Jeanette, why don't you just kind of share this link? Like, hey, watch these guys. I think they're looking for your best interest.
Yeah.
Yep. We just had this conversation on the way over here. Times are tough right now, right? In the real estate and in the lending, and we're gonna see that a lot of people are kind of falling by the wayside. And it's funny, Mario is part of a mentorship group, and he actually just got a phone call on the way over here from someone saying, "Hey, I'm having a tough time right now. What are you doing? How are you guys surviving? What is it that you guys? What can I implement? Give me some advice." And I think that is huge in our community. We need to be able to do that, to extend a hand to someone that is struggling right now.
Yeah.
Or you be the one to reach out to someone that hey, right now they're killing it. What are you doing? Give me one thing from your arsenal that you have. One thing that you think that I could implement right now that could take me up, right? That could just get me by right now. Just enough to make it through.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a conversation, right? Sometimes they just need a vent.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and we have this conversation with a lot of people. I mentor a few individuals, and I talk to a lot of veterans, about their PTSD and stuff like that. And I tell them, I'm like, look, sometimes it's a conversation. It's easy for certain people to open up, right? And there's certain people that just don't ever ask for help, right? And it's those people that when they explode, they have these really bad falls, right? So I talked to this individual on the phone, and it was just a conversation. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, look, let's figure out how to run lean. Let's lean out your company.
Mm-hmm.
Let's restructure a couple things that maybe you don't need, right? You don't need to pay 4 or 5 offices. Maybe you need to downsize to 3. Maybe, whatever it is. But sometimes having that conversation is important. But I think empowerment, right? Like, I can give you every bit of advice, but you have to implement it.
Yes,
as an individual.
And it's true, the implementation, growing up, I went to Turtle Brown. My mom, like I said, she was a young woman when she had me, 15. We kind of grew up together.
Yeah.
We're only 15 years apart. And they said, "Oh, mija, she couldn't teach me what I was learning from kindergarten." So me decía, you got to be your teacher's best friend, because your teachers are going to teach you what I don't know.
Yeah.
But I go, Mama, pues, sí cierto, I became like the teacher's pet. And then when I went to college, I was learning things from my older friends.
Yeah.
And you're right. Some people we're scared to vent, but sometimes maybe you don't have to vent to your immediate family or your immediate friends. And honestly, the best advice that I've gotten, other than my mom, has been a stranger.
Yeah.
Because a stranger doesn't know you and will not criticize you. That's why if you kind of need, like, you know what, pick up the phone, call us right now that you have us online, and say, you know what, I know you don't know me, but I want to share something with you.
Yeah.
I'm also on the radio, and I have had those kind of calls.
Yeah.
I have had those kind of calls, and I've talked to those people, and then por la vida, something's happened that we kind of like said, oh my God, I talked to you like last year, and I told you this.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Yeah.
And sometimes people tell me their stories, and I love it. I always say, I want to know where you're coming from, because I also have my struggles and battles. I have my telenovela that I could share, and it's funny, and it's sad, and it's inspiring. But everybody else does too.
Yeah.
Mario, I know that I always ask you, oh, how did it go? Because Mario and I, guys, one time we were live watching the Cadetes de Linares, and it's like a norteño song. I mean, I had just barely met you.
Yeah.
And we became so emotional listening to this song because, number one, it brought me memories when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. My dad, mi abuelito. Pero it brought you also that memory of your friends.
Yeah.
And you called your friend live. And I was crying with you because I was sharing, maybe not your same emotion, but I was sharing a emotion.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was he was, overseas. He was in Afghanistan and in Iraq. And, he's like, man, I wish I could have been there. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, right. Luckily, we have technology that allows us to fill that moment. Right. So it took me to where when I was overseas, when I was deployed, when I couldn't make those calls, when I couldn't reach out to just my friends and go, man, there you are. Like, I needed that, right? So, yeah, it was a really emotional moment. And, being like most people will never see that side of me, where I get emotional like that, because there are very far and few moments like that. But that moment happened at that perfect timing, right? And it was just, and I remember we were talking afterwards, and you're like, what happened? And I'm like, I go, I remember being in his shoes 20 years ago and not having the ability.
Yeah.
So having the ability for me, right? I was like, I'm gonna call him right now. I don't care if I wake him up. I don't care what's going on over there. Like, I'm gonna call him at least to know, let him know that someone cares.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, those are the testaments of empowerment, of being,
being humble enough to cry with somebody, like me and you shared that moment that, I mean, I didn't know what you were feeling. That's when I said, what are you feeling? You couldn't express it other than the fact is like, Lucy, I got emotional because my friend was over there.
Yeah.
I've been where he's been. And it goes back to real estate, right?
Yeah.
When there's that person, tu tia, que she rents this little house and she's happy renting. And you're telling her, tia, I'm buying this house with Mario and Jeanette and Lucy. And the tia's like, oh, that's kind of cool, because she can relate. If somebody tells you a story about what they're going through or maybe their dream, you're not going to feel the same excitement, but you're going to feel some sort of an emotion and just respect it.
Yeah.
Respect the fact that they're jumping from the ground to the sky and coming back, and they're filling you with energy. I mean, I'm reading this book. It's called Ninja Sales. Mm-hmm. I mean, for all of you realtors, lenders, I think that is kind of something, one of my secrets that I was, one of my Denver NAHREP chapters referred it, and one of my Nevada girls, and they were like, we love this book. And I was like, let me read it. Mm-hmm. But it's something that it said, we do have to see from who are we touching as friends, number one. Number two is like, what's in your mind? Mm-hmm. What positive stuff is in your mind? And sometimes we cannot share that awesome excitement with somebody else. Como, somebody won the Powerball.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm still happy. Yo estoy trabajando. Pero I'm sure there's people like, yo no me la gané. They were very disappointed.
Bitter.
But it's like, you know what? I'm sure that person that won it is going to do his good deed. I said, si yo me la gano, I'm not going to spend the money. I'm going to maybe I'll buy myself a new house, but I want to be able to help.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, we're not going to be able to, finish that money, but there's a lot of need. I mean, have you guys driven around Arizona lately that we have a lot of homeless? Yeah. We have a lot of mental health issues. We have families that can't afford the rent. Yeah. So are we helping any of these people? Yeah. Are we helping any of these families? I know that we do it for Thanksgiving, because it's the day de dar gracias, let's give thanks. But what about year round?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about year round?
Yeah, and that's a lot of the power of our influence, right? Being in this industry, being, in real estate, in lending is the ability to go out and help those people, right? Mm-hmm. Luckily a few years ago, I got to be on, the boots on the ground on a program that was started by United Healthcare that focused solely on bringing homeless individuals into affordable housing and then getting them the wraparound services that they needed. And that program has now, flourished, and it's been developed and repeated in several states now. And it's becoming very triumphant, which, it's a testament to the groundwork that we do, right? It's a testament that we put into our company, that we're always committed to our community, to stay in touch with our community, to always find ways to give back to the community. So with that, right, with that community involvement came Taco Tuesday. So Taco Tuesday was we re-engage the community with financial support, not by cutting a check, but by giving them free exposure on our media. Mm-hmm. And we get to eat, because I like to eat. Soy un gordo, okay? Soy un gordito trapped in a thin man's body, in my dad bod body. Dad bod body.
That's the way I feel, Mario.
So today,
that's the way I feel.
Yeah. So today we got tacos from Galloso's Mexican restaurant. They are on 29th Street in McDowell. I have the address right. Yeah, 2709 East McDowell Road. So I always look for these crazy little taco places, and I always order tacos. And I forgot, you don't need carne. That's my bad.
It's okay.
Pero hay unos de tripa right there that you can try. Tripa. No, technically no.
Nomás
la tortilla. Just give it a lick.
It's going to be you, Mario, because I'm still on my 30-day too.
So I get to be the judge again? So this happened a couple weeks ago with Jeanette, that I had to be the judge because she's doing this 30-day challenge, which, again, right, it's an accomplishment, a testament to yourself, right, that you're committing to your health and your wellness, right? Like, and I commit to saving you from all these super bad tacos in the world. So I have to eat these things. So Gallosos is on 27th Street in McDowell. So, small business, good opportunity, to try their tacos. And then we're going to get a zoom shot. See if you want to open them up. Jeanette, reach over there, open them up. We got some pastor.
This is a chorizo.
There's
Oh, man, they look
chorizo. There's a pastor one right there. Ooh. There's the tripita ones right there.
So while Mario's tasting these...
So I'm going to grab the tripita ones because those are Jeanette's favorite. And I get to torture her for like 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
So anybody that's out there listening, remember, we are here, Lucy, nosotros, to help you with any of your real estate needs, anything you guys might have, any questions, what's going on in the market, what's going on with interest rates, all that good stuff.
I'm going to tell you guys, for anybody that is currently a homeowner, right now it's a good time if you're thinking to upgrade, la verdad.
Yeah.
This weekend, Natalie and I, we picked up 2 listings. And these 2 listings, una is in Chandler, the other, actually 3. Surprise, Chandler, and Maricopa. And you know what? Something that our client told us that I was like, oh my God, it's so true. He's like, I'm buying in this market. Even though people say it's a bad market, it's not, because I'm going to take the time to find the house I really, really want.
Options.
Yes. Mm-hmm. For those sellers that are thinking, it is not a good time to buy, it is. Okay, it is. It gives you that time to prepare, not the time to just like rush through your sale. And also for you buyers that are trying to even buy those new homes, oh my God. Casi, I'm not gonna say free money, but there's a lot of options and there's money available. Yes, sellers are paying. You know what? We took this listing and we did tell the seller, Mr. Seller, we are in this market. If you provide incentives like offer a home warranty, offer to pay for the appraisal, offer to maybe pay the closing costs, to do a buy down. Mm-hmm. It's gonna put you like, oh my God, your house has incentives, and I'm gonna want them. And that buyer, like we have a buyer that, guys, if you don't have the perfect credit, but you do have the strongest income, still call us. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you that we visited a young couple. And they're like, oh my God, we have this much income. We were like, wow, she works, he works, and they also get they get also SSI from their child. And their income is so strong, but they're like, oh yeah, but we have 4 cars, and I'm like, let me see your credit, and their FICO score is 500, and it's okay. But something that they said that Natalie and I, we looked at each other and we're like, wow, you know what they said? We have the cash, but we don't want to be cash poor. So we want to use our credit card to pay for groceries and pay for gas. So Natalie and I looked at each other and I said, okay, let me get my blank piece of paper and let me tell you how much you're paying for that gas and how much are you paying for your, those things that you're spending. And they're like, we didn't know. Yeah. Because in school, they don't teach you that. Yeah. But if you call Mario, Jeanette, and Lucy, we will teach you.
We will walk you through it. Yeah, financial literacy is a big part of what we teach. I'm not going to tell you about the tacos, Jeanette, because...
Oh, my God, I can smell them.
They smell delicious.
So she loves... Tripa tacos. Yeah, she loves a good tripa taco, and I put in a special request to make them really crunchy, how you absolutely hate them.
Doradas, las
bien doraditas. So they're really good. You don't get to eat any. I do. But yeah,
we should give the cameraman one.
No, AJ eats all the time. AJ waits till we stop filming.
Y luego se lleva todos los tacos allá.
Yeah. But AJ, I think you need to come into this.
So let's pull AJ around because he needs to be our second guest judge because I'm very biased.
He's like, yes. And I've been looking forward to this.
I've done it before. I pulled him around and he was like, really, you're gonna make me try a taco? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Did you have breakfast?
So
he did
AJ,
it, guys.
so take down the headphones, swing around here, grab a taco. Guys, as always, mental health, mental strength, personal health. Find someone. If you need to talk to someone, find someone. To all my veterans out there, find someone. I preach at every show. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There is help, right? There is a way out. You can call us. You can email me directly. My info is always on the screen. So if you're going through something, find someone. Find a pastor. Find a friend. Find a counselor. Whoever it is that you can confide in. Because
remember, I'm a stranger. She's a stranger.
Yeah, it's a testament to keeping us, not only in the game for us, right? Like, as the market pivots, right, and we all start getting back on track where we were before, but times are tough. The holidays are coming up. People don't have what they used to have. So we know that they're going to struggle mentally. So, reach out, guys. There are ways to get help for anything that you are struggling with. We've preached this since day one of the show. So, and I'm going to keep preaching it until, they kick me off the air. So, go get help.
We won't. I want to come again.
Yeah, no, we'll do it again.
No, thank you, Lucy.
But I'm going to have to get like fish tacos and all kinds of crazy stuff that you can eat. Yeah, one with like, puro, like.
I became vegan 2 years ago now. And I'm going to tell you that there's even like McDonald's is bringing the vegan burger. Yeah. Starbucks just has an Impossible sandwich. And I'm doing it just because of health issues, but also because I wanted to kind of like take care of myself a little bit more, baby steps at a time. But something that Mario mentioned, guys, you do when you go to a restaurant, kind of, give them a shout out.
Yeah.
Because that small business needs that help. We're always giving each other shout outs like, hey, Jeanette and Mario, Lucy. But what about those business owners?
Yeah.
Those business owners, let's give them a shout out. I mean, if you go to my Facebook, I give a shout out to all my jardineros that I'm selling homes to.
Yeah.
I give a shout out to my plumbers. Like, hey, I want to give you a review. I give tips to all my handyman, my electrician.
Yeah.
They need that shout out. Así como we work with referrals, they're doing the same thing. So Mario and Jeanette, you guys are doing a fantastic job by buying some tacos from a different taqueria every week and exposing.
Yeah.
That's what we need as a community.
Yes.
I mean, your hairstylist, your nail girl, we always call them, who do you know that does this good job,
Yeah, and thank you for going vegan because that leaves more carne asada tacos for me. So, that's just the truth. I ain't even gonna lie. Yeah. So thank you to everybody who doesn't eat carne, so I can have more tacos in front of my face and more taquerias to go to. But, with that, we're going to wrap up the show. We're going to have AJ come try some tacos. Guys, if you need some help with real estate, reach out to Lucy. We're going to have her info up on the screen. Yep. If you guys need mortgage needs, call us. Mama Bear's here. I don't know if she's coming back next week. Guys, 2 times in a month, we've gotten her on the show.
I have to prepare for our mother party, so probably not. But give us a call. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week, guys.
Bye-bye.